Welcome back to another reaction for ReZero Season 4 Episode 4.
あのさ、冗談じゃないよね。ちょっと運が良かったぐらいで勝ち誇って。
おぞましくも浅ましい。なんとも独りよがりな思いの産物なのです。
まったく、どこまで人をコケにすれば気が済むのかな。
これほど私が強く勤勉に訴えているというのに、あなた、なんと怠惰なのですか。
それってささやかで平凡な幸福を感受することだけがの。
I mean, this is, from what I can remember inside of Subaru, which we will see shortly. I don't really remember why. Assumption was that it could be the witch factor speaking, and they have this as a medium. Doesn't really matter because we have PTQ's back. I mean, one of the better characters, and Regulus is here as well, I guess. Interesting or funny that he's like violating my rights as an unselfish man, which who desires nothing. Sure. I mean, at this point, maybe.
望みの無欲な僕に対する権利の侵害だ。
Oh no, this is not good, right? Right? Not good.
竜舎の中。
Inside the carriage, Emilia's back. What happened? Because last time we got rescued by the woman. I mean, I guess rescued. She did say she found him, so maybe. We also were with Ram and Anastasia and Patrash. So we had the whole problem that the second half of the team was missing. Now we are back with the carriage. Also the whole dream sequence. It has some interesting repercussions. Not repercussions. Because I had this discussion with my friend. It doesn't really matter. Let's see.
エミリア、これ死に戻りじゃないよな。やばっこい、あったかい。
あんまりいたずらするんじゃないのよ。
おお、ひょい。
エミリアも心配で2晩寝てなかったかしら。
よかった、無事なのか。他のみんなは。
Yeah, you were very worried about the other ones, not, you know, taking the chance to touch Emilia.
安心
On the face. He's not Rudy, but
するのよ。ちゃんと全員無事に揃っているかしら。
マジでよかった。本当に心配したんだぞ。抱きしめさせろ。ここ
なのよ。
where's the tower?
プレアデス監視塔の中かしら。
We are not at the tower, we are inside the tower?
お前は。お前は誰だ。賢者なのか。
やっと見つけた。お師様。
Okay. Maybe don't kill him instantly.
なんだその怪力。そもそもお前は誰でなんだ。
何言ってるんすか。シャウラス、プレアデス監視塔の星番、星様の可愛い教え子のシャウラスや。大変、起きたらスバルがどこにもいない。
エミリアさん助けて。
I mean, she's very clueless about relationships still, right? So does she even know what is going on? Second, you were saying everyone is here? We have 3 people plus her now. So where's Julius? Where's Ram? Where's Anastasia? Those 2 are the most important. Where's Patrush? Where's Rem? Didn't see her, I believe. Didn't pay too much attention.
なんで。
よくわからないけど、なんだかすごくモヤモヤしたの。
So yeah, I mean, she's Shaola. We could have assumed as much. I do find it a little bit sad that I already know the story. So whatever is going to happen, I'm not going to be surprised. However, there are some parts that I just don't remember. So it may come to me as like a memory flash. We will see.
あまり
There they are, okay.
幻滅させないでくれ。
鼻の下が伸びているわよ、バルスケベ。
His face is the same. He did not even change.
伸びてねえし、組み合わせんなよ。
おっさま、おっさま、もう離れないっす。
とにかく腕がもげる前に話を進めたいんだが。
うちらも困惑しとるんよ。さっきまでほとんど喋らんかった人が夏希くんにこんなメロメロなんやもん。
こいつが
おっさまが言ったんすよ。誰に何を聞かれても余計なことは言わない、話さない、教えない、いっそぶっ刺せって。
The last part is a little bit ominous, okay. Which does explain why she attacked you first, the first time around, you know. Also, she can't be part of Subaru's group, right? She's far too old for our little girl user, so. Also, if she's telling the truth that she was the student of the Sage was here like 400 years ago. I don't really know when the Sage, what happened to the Sage. Did he disappear? Did he die? Did he, whatever. We don't really know time frame wise when that happened. If we assume 400 years ago, which is the last time we heard him being mentioned, because he was responsible for sealing the Witch of Envy, right? He did also plant the tree, or was the tree just named after him? I believe he planted that, but I don't know when that was exactly. So we could assume 400 years ago at least the Sage was here. Maybe he was here for like a couple hundred years. But again, if she is the Sage's disciple, she's probably more like 100 plus years old at this point. Theoretically.
あーしはそれを守ってるだけっす。
そのお日様だいぶひでえな。そんなんいいからみんなとも話してくれ。
よっしゃー、やったっすー。お日様の許可が出たっすー。
それでお前が噂の賢者ってことでいいんだよな。
お日様が探してるのがシャウラならあーしのことっす。そうっすそうっす。でも探してるのが賢者シャウラならあーしにもよくわかんねっす。
世間的にシャウラと思わ
I just now heard that she has that dialect. which seems fitting for her to talk differently. I wonder. Because the sage is heavily involved with all the stuff, and the sages, we could assume that he may be an otherworldler like Subaru, because Subaru is not the first one. The whole city-state things. I forgot where we were last season. Was also named by an otherworldler, as far as I remember. The whole Japanese style was introduced by an otherworldler. I wonder if Shaola is speaking, if it's just a design choice for us, or for the voice actor that she's speaking like this, or is it in universe that she's speaking similar to like this Japanese dialect? So someone may have taught her that, or again, it's just for the anime.
言われてるのはこのシャウラやね。正金貨が神竜、金貨が初代剣聖、銀貨が賢者。
Okay. Holy gold coin, which is silver in color, I guess. There's a dragon, we have the sword saint, and we have the sage. Which again, they did say these three together were responsible for sealing the Witch of Envy 400 years ago. Which just shows you how strong she really was.
が賢者。
その娘とは似ても似つかないかしら。オシスもそっくりっす。
俺とどこが？
私もさすがにこの人とスバルは似てないと思うかな。
あーしがオシ様のこと見つけたのは見た目の話じゃないんで、ノープロブレムっす。
どこで学んだんだその言い回し。
見た目じゃな。
Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't recognize Master based on his looks, so no problem. Where exactly did you learn that phrase? Again, I'm assuming that this is more or less showing us that she learned stuff from an otherworldler, which a master, the sage, probably otherworldler, maybe, potentially, most likely, right? Did we have any other clues regarding that? Again, something about the tree. I, as far as I know, he had something to do with the tree. The tree is called Flügel, which is German for wing or wings, depending on context. I don't remember if it was named after the sage or the sage named it or planted it, something along those lines. You know, wherever we defeated the White Way.
どこで学んだんだその言い回し。
見た目じゃないとするならどのように見極めを？
匂いっす。こんな鼻が曲がりそうなどす黒くてえぐい匂いプンプンさせてる人はお日様以外考えられないっす。
So I did check again for the which is miasma, which as far as I have read is a little bit different to the miasma, normal miasma. However, she is saying, similar to Rem, that she is smelling the witch's effect on Subaru, right? The disgusting smell she's mentioning, the nose burning black disgusting smell, which is what Rem prompted to attack him the very first time he was in the mansion and kill him repeatedly. And seemingly this is the smell that accumulates the more return by death happen. Now, I still wonder if down below where they got corrupted, if that was also with the witch's miasma. Similar to the stuff that is around Subaru. But none of the characters that we had there could smell it. I don't know how you can smell it. She can smell it. We know Rem can smell it. But somehow no one else. Why those two? I don't know.
そこまで傷つけられたの初めてだよ。何？俺ってそんな臭いの？
大丈夫よスバル。私分かってるから。後でちゃんと水浴びしましょう。
分かってもらえてねえ。
あなたはシャウラだけど賢者ではない。それなら剣聖と神竜に心当たりはある？
うぎえっす。
知っているのね。
そりゃ知ってるっすよ。棒振りレイドと皮肉屋のボルカニクは古なじみっすもん。元気でやってるんじゃないっすか。
レイドは死んでいるわ。とっくに。
マジっすか？殺しても死なないようなやつだったのになんで死んだっすか？
寿命よ。
そっか。レイドは一応人間だったっすもんね。
Right, the first sword saint. Right. Interesting. And Volcanica the sarcastic. The whole part for Lugunica, they have this pact with Volcanica, right? This marriage or whatever between the queen and the dragon, or I do not remember, but they have this pact, which more or less Lugunica hopes that the dragon is then protecting them, right? I don't really remember why. It's a whole royal selection and then the renewing the pact with the dragon for protection or whatever. I do wonder if that was like a sarcastic thing on Volcanica's part, because they mentioned this here. Or she just throwing out like insults to these people because they are enemies of her master, maybe, or she doesn't like them for some reason.
改めて聞くわ。あなたのお師様は一体何者なの？
変な質問っすね。なんで連れのあんたたちが知らないっすか？
残念だけど、あなたのお師様はトイレの便器に頭をぶつけていろいろ抜けたのよ。
お師様またやったっすか？
Again?
また？
じゃあ、足の口から大発表っす。
Do you mean again in hitting his head on Bedchamber or whatever pot? Or again in not remembering? Which part of those are you saying again? Because she's clearly saying, hey, Subaru is her master. And her master, I mean, come on. It's gonna be the Sage, yeah. Because from the very beginning, if you had the Sage on the coin, you knew what he looked like, or supposedly looked like. And you clearly saw she did not look like that at all. So, but see, I wonder if she's just meaning, hey, he's clumsy, or he lost his memories at some point.
お師様の名前。そう、その名も高き大賢人。この世界で賢者なんて呼ばれるとしたら、ふさわしいのはお師様だけ。
Subaru.
前置きはいい。
ダダダーン！フリューゲル。
は？
足のお師様の名前はフリューゲル。大賢人フリューゲルっす。
それ木植えた人の名前じゃん。怖っ、高っ。手すりのない不安定感がやばい。
やだ、裸のお姉さんたらあんまり揺らさないでちょうだいよ。人の背中に乗ってるくせに偉そうなちびっこっす。なあ、髪引っ張るな
ほらほらメイリー、あんまり刺激すんな。ポニテで遊ぶのも禁止。
ポニテじゃないっす。スコーピオンテールっす。
あ、
スコーピオンテール。
わかったっつの。何のこだわりだよ。
これが塔に出入りをする正式な扉かしら。レムとパトラッシュはもう一つ上の階にいるのよ。
まだ上がるの？ってか、ここが塔への入り口ならリュウシャやパトラッシュはどうやって運んだんだ？
Now this is going to be very interesting because this is where I get some visuals for the tower, some more visuals. I'm pretty sure there was some fan art that was seemingly pretty spot on with what I'm seeing here.
あ、
全部シャウラが運んでくれたのよ。
Shaula seems really strong, as strong as maybe Garth
で持ち上げて。
バ
physically.
ル？
いやー、あのぐらいなら楽勝っすよ。
感謝の気持ちよりドン引きの方が勝ってるよ。
感謝されてもドン引かれても、足の子の一途な気持ち受け止めて、そういう投げ捨てられたっす。
One second. Again, I can't tell. Is she speaking English? I mean, in the voiceover, it was English, right, for you? But is she speaking English in ReZero?
投げ捨てられたっす。
これ作ったのもフリューゲルさんなんだよな。そういや賢者って呼ばれてたって聞いたけど、まさかこんなところで再会するとは。
木を植えた以外何したのかいまいちわからない賢者かしら。
Oh, he planted
に
it.
しても
Okay.
でけえよな。ようやく実感が湧いてきた。
That is why I had to check. If they already heard about Flügel, the sage, why did they not remember that before? Right? But I'm not sure. We know that the tree was called Flügel's tree, and that it was planted a long time ago. But I don't remember when exactly we heard about the sage Flügel in combination.
実感とは？
ここが俺たちの目指してたプレアデス監視塔だって実感。
その理解度じゃせいぜい100点満点中の99点っす。
ほぼ満点じゃねえか。
採点はアーシのお師様への愛情の分だけ、おまけのおまけのおまけのおまけがついたっす。
I don't know. I feel like that in this show, whenever there's a female character that really, really loves Subaru, that is always going to end bad. I mean, we have the Witch of Envy. We had Emilia one time saying how much she loves Subaru, right? But that also was not good. They always turn a little bit yandere. She seems somewhat nice at the moment, at least. Apart from breaking his back.
プレアデス監視塔ってのは仮の名前、仮の役割っす。こうしてお師様が戻ってきたんなら、ここは元の役割に戻るっすよ。
元の役割？
はいっす。知りたいこと、気づきたいこと、何でも探せる大図書館。大図書館プレイアデスはお師様のお帰りを大歓迎するっす。
I don't know. I probably missed it. Why was Meili just piggyback riding on Shaula? Was there a reason?
この中にレムとパトラッシュが。おいレム、ツタが動いたぞ。
ビビりすぎよ。部屋の主が驚くわ。
部屋の主ってのは？
精霊よ。
Right. The special room, I remember.
ジャングル感がすげえな。
Are those all spirits?
レム、パトラッシュも。
エミリア様と合流した時、パトラッシュは大怪我をしていたそうよ。 それを精霊の力で治癒しているの。ここの精霊には医師らしい意志はないそうよ。ただ入った生き物の傷や病を癒そうとするだけ。
それじゃあレムも。
レムには効力がない。傷でも病でもないものは癒せない。精霊はそう判断したようね。
結局このままじゃ何も変わらないってことか。
変えたいなら塔に来た目的を果たさなきゃダメでしょうね。
大図書館プレイヤーですか。
Now the library is a big part. Very interesting. Now Flügel made this tower, right? Or inherited it, whatever. So this room was always here. I assume he couldn't have died from an injury or illness then, because if this room can slowly heal you, maybe old age? We don't really know. Because we don't really have many people who are... We don't really know about age stuff. We know Emilia's pretty old in the grand... She's like 116 or something, because she was encased in ice. You know, Beatrice is like 300, 400 years or whatever. We know the Roswell family seems to have a normal lifespan, but we don't know what their lifespan really is. How long can humans even live? Was Flügel even a human? I'm just wondering, where is Flügel? Why is he not here? I mean, she's saying master. I'm assuming it's a he. Also, it seems like they were pretty powerful, being able to make this room specifically. I mean, you have a whole room full of spirits that can heal.
その答えを手に入れてレムを取り戻す。その目的はブレてねえ。よし、俺はみんなのところに戻る。お前は？
誰かがレムを見ていないといくらなんでも不安でしょ。
それじゃレムのことはお前に任せた。
見守るぐらいしかできないけどね。
I mean, that's
お前が見守ってくれることに意味があるんだよ。レムとパトラッシュをお願いします。
この層は足のすみかみたいなもんっす。普段はここから砂丘の様子を見張ってるっす。で、塔に近づくやつは片っ端から撃つべしっす。
やっぱりあれはお前か。あれのせいでこっちはとんでもねえ目にあったぞ。
塔にお邪魔虫を近づけないための狙撃、ヘルズスナイプっす。
First off, how? Second off,
ヘルズスナイプっす。
中は大丈夫だった？
ああ、大丈夫。ラムが見ててくれる。
スバルがフリューゲルじゃないと知れたらどう出るかわからないのよ。
訂正も分からせもやばいってか。レグルスやペテルギウスの方がよっぽど楽だったぜ。
お日様、どうかしたっすか？
なんでもねえよ。ただこれだけは確認しとくが、お前が塔を目指してる連中を狙撃してたのは。
もちろんお日様の言いつけっす。400年来る日も来る日もずーっと境を見張って、聞くも涙語るも涙の乾きの日々を過ごしてきたっす。400年もずっと一人で。
so 400 years. Okay. So she is pretty old. I mean, essentially same age as Beatrice, approximately, right? At least we know Beatrice waited for 400 years in the library, was it? Whatever the case. So, right. She was like, hey, you are my master. But not because you look like him, you smell like him. I did not even acknowledge that she specifically mentioned something that seems to be similar to the witch's miasma. Which means the old sage had that miasma as well? Why? How? How did you even become the sage's apprentice? And why did he smell like that? Was it because he was involved with the Witch of Envy? Did he have something that would produce that miasma? Did he have something like Return by Death? I don't know if that was mentioned once. Nah, I don't believe so. Because maybe Subaru is the sage, but how that works, I don't know. It's a word of magic. Anything is possible, I guess. Yeah, I do wonder. Why was the sage smelling like Subaru whenever he returns by death a bunch of times?
お前俺の言うことなら聞くんだよな。
なんすかそんな真剣な顔で。あまりエッチなことはダメっすよ。
俺と仲間たちに危害を加えるな。お日様の命令は塔に近づく奴を攻撃しろだろ。なら中に入った俺たちにはもう攻撃する必要はない。危害を加えるな、絶対に。
オッケーっす。お日様の新しい命令として、私もきっちり覚えたっすよ。
Okay, but you had a pause there. That was a little bit unnerving. Let's hope you keep your word. Also, I mean, we are inside. Her hell sniper or whatever is going to not be of much use, right? Now that we are in melee combat.
よし、じゃあ約束だぞ。
了解したっす。守るっすよ。超守るっすよ。改めてお帰りなさいっす、お日様。賢人フリューゲルのご帰還、このシャウラ心よりお待ち申し上げておりました。6層、5層、4層と上がってきて、ここから上は試験会場の3層、2層、1層っす。
試験会場？
そうっす。まずは3層で書庫に入る権利を試すっすよ。
大図書館プレイヤーデスの書庫に入る権利。
それが目下我々にとっての最大の難関だよ。
そうか。俺が寝てる間、みんなはその試験に挑んでたわけか。
Okay, it's time to log in. It's time to get your pen out, and we are doing a written exam, I guess.
ここは長居はしたくない部屋だな。
同意するよ。長くいると平衡感覚が失われかねない。
Not ominous at all.
石板か。
それが言ってみればこちらに謎を突きつける装置といったところだ。
その板きれいに触ったらそれで試験が始まるかしら。
And all of you together were unable to solve it. So, how is Subaru going to help in that regard?
このモノリスに触ればいいのか。
モノリスか。不思議と馴染む呼び方だ。以降そう呼ぼう。
触るぜ。
Okay. Hero vanquished by Shaola. What?
どうだろうか。私たちの最初の驚き、共感してもらえたかな。
Did you also hear that, or was that only Subaru? What do you mean, hero vanquished by Shaola? If he's the only one that heard the voice, or everyone had like a personalized message, maybe this is talking about him dying because of Shaola? Which would mean that whatever was talking to him was able to read his memories or know that he returned by death? Or was this Stone Slab talking about something that happened at some point where Shaola vanquished a hero? I don't know. I assume that the three people, Volcanica, Raid, the first Sword Saint, and the Sage Flügel, are counted as heroes. Did she maybe defeat one of them? It could be one of those two, I feel like. I assume it's a personalized message that can read his mind. Because I don't believe Shaola, even though she was pretty strong, I don't believe she would be able to defeat any of the three big guys. Because they were able to defeat the Witch of Envy, or at least seal her away.
今聞こえたのが試験問題ってことか。
スバル、試験を始める前にいくつか注意事項がある。まずは手近なところにある石板、いやモノリスに触れてみてくれ。
お前そんなに気に入ったの？いや別にいいけど。
最初の状態に戻った。つまり試験には失格という判断だろう。無論
シャウラに滅ぼされし英雄、かの者の最も輝かしきに触れよ。
なるほど。クリアするまで何度でも挑んでいいわけ。
So even though Julius touched the slab, he still heard the hero vanquished by Shaola. Was it still Subaru hearing that? Does everyone have a different message?
というのが今のところ我々の推測だ。ちなみにこのモノリスだが、闇雲に触れて回っても答えには至らないとだけは明言しておこう。
下手な鉄砲は試した後なわけね。あ、確かにエミリアタンがやりそうな方法。
せやけど仮に答えが分かったところで、それがどうしたら最も輝かしきに触ったことになるんかな。
They all heard the same, okay. Is that like really just a question? Or is that something that happened? That Shaola vanquished a hero? What hero? What is it talking about?
確かに。
いつまでも考え込んでても進歩がないんじゃない？裸のお姉さんに直接聞いたらいいと思うの。
まあそうだよ
He's
な。
not naked.
シャウラ、お前が滅ぼした英雄に心当たりはある？
殺したやつの名前をいちいち覚えてるなんざ二流の仕事。足みたいな一流は100から先は覚えちゃいねえ。そう
だろうね。それじゃ鳥間覚えのある名前だと。
I mean, they seem to be able to work together. Or at least Subaru seems to have honed in on her personality quite well.
ああ、そうだな。あ、レイドは初代剣聖とかお前が殺したんじゃないの？
ありがとうお兄さん。
いや、俺の不用意な発言のせいみたいだったし。何？初代剣聖ってそんな怖い人なの？
バカな。ラインハルトたちアストレア家の祖にあたる御人だ。剣の腕だけでなくさぞ人格者だったことだろう。シャウラ女子、忌憚なくあなたの意見を聞かせてもらいたい。
人間のクズだったっす。
忌憚なくあなたの意見を聞かせてもらいたい。
なかったことにすんなよ。
まあとにかく嫌なやつだったっす。悪ガキがそのまま大きくなったみたいな性格で、弱い者いじめとか大好きだったっす。っていうか、あのクズから見たら大抵の相手は弱かったんで、もう誰と戦っても弱い者いじめっす。私も超やられたっす。
お前をやり込めるって相当化け物だな。
So she did fight him. She was not able to beat him, so that is not the hero she vanquished. Oh yeah, I remember. Yep. Yep. I remember. Yep. Very interesting to see that she was already the apprentice while they were seemingly together, the big three, to potentially fight the witch or whatever. And she was able to fight or train, whatever you want to call it, under raid. Which means they had some kind of amicable relationship, even though she seems to have gotten a little bit of a trauma regarding that.
てか待てよ。党への挑戦者はシャウラを撃破して党内に入る可能性もあるんだから、シャウラに聞かなくても分かる答えでないとだよな。
スバル、ナツキくん、なんや思いついた？
シャウラの存在抜きで攻略できる可能性。シャウラをシャウラと知らなくてもシャウラがあるとしたら。
That is what I remembered.
なんすかお日様、そんなに見つめられたら照れるっすやん。
ペアコ。
その顔、ベティの好きなスバルの顔なのよ。
ちょっと高くジャンプしたい。上からこのモノリス見下ろしたいんだ。
ムラ
思った通りだ。
ク、目的果たせたかしら？
おうよ。この場所最高に意地が悪い。
He's not wrong. They're definitely going to explain what really is going on here.
英雄の名前わかったぜ。
White Sky Asterism.
ナツキくん、どうやって答えが分かったん？
そんな大層なもんでもねえよ。
It is a big deal.
これが解けないのはみんなが悪いわけじゃない。解ける可能性のあるやつがそもそもずっと少ない。シャウラに滅ぼされた英雄、その名前はオリオンだ。
オリオン？
いや、私の知らないやつっすよ。
知らなくて当然だ。そもそもこの問題のシャウラってのはこいつのことじゃなかったんだ。
シャウラは私だけっすよ。お日様にもらった名前っす。
そのお日様がお前につけた名前にそもそも元ネタが
Stop wiggling your hips, come on.
あったって話だ。
シャウラの名前の由来って、もしかしてまたスバルだけが知ってること？
俺だけってわけじゃないけどね。俺の地元の星の名前にシャウラってのがある。意味は針なんだけど、それが何の針かっていうとサソリの針なんだ。
サソリ？
言い伝えによると、英雄オリオンは調子づいたことが理由で嫌がらせに派遣されたサソリに刺されて死んで星になった。で、
Yeah, not a big deal to know that. Never heard of that. Never. So, learn something new, I guess?
オリオンを殺したサソリもその功績で星になって、 今でも空じゃオリオンはサソリにビビってるって話なんだが、
スバルが噛み砕くと英雄太もなんかしょんぼりな感じなのよ。
とにかく星を人とか動物とかの形に例えた星座って考え方がある。アステリズムって呼び方でもいいけどな。で、上からモノリスを見下ろしたらだ。そのまま星座の形をイメージしてオリオンをなぞってやると、
そうすると
最も輝かしきってのが意外とクセ者な言い回しだ。実は星の光り方にもいろいろあって、ずっと明るいのもあればたまに強く光るのもある。オリオン座には最も輝くってのに該当する星が2つあって、常に明るいのはリゲルだが、ベテルギウスは時々強く光る変更星だ。どちらとも取れるってのは回答として美しくないけど、俺だったらリゲルの方を取るかな。
Interesting. So yeah, this is one of those, that is why I said I remember. Because it came to me that it had to do with stars and constellations. This is one part I do not appreciate. There are a lot of references to stars in the show. The whole Pleiades, Watchtower, Natsuki Subaru, Shaula, as they mentioned. There are a lot of mentions of stars and constellations and relationships between those, which I feel like it's difficult for me, because on one hand, it is nice to have like an idea about maybe there could be something going on with our knowledge of the real life stars. On the other hand, it would be like a little bit too far reaching, because you could find out stuff, yeah, that is not really confirmed yet, if you follow that idea. I mean, in this case, it was just for Shaula, but there are a lot of mentions of stars. So that is always, because I followed the show for quite some time. I read whenever this volume came out as a web novel, and people always brought up the stars and all the stuff and big connections with the support of stars and constellation and their relationships, and maybe some names are related to some stars because it's a Japanese name and this can be translated, and it's like, I don't like that. I'm not a fan. The same with, which you probably don't know if you don't read the novel. On the 1st of April, I believe, always, there's like a side chapter that the author produces, and there are also some if variations, stories that are not really canon, but they have characters in them that appeared there before they appeared in the main story, as far as I remember, which I'm also not necessarily a fan of. It's fine after, totally cool, but I don't, because I'm following it for the main story mainly. I don't really care about the side stuff. So, last thing, because whenever you read that, there's naturally a comment section and people can't help themselves, willfully or not, similar to me earlier in this episode. I don't remember if we got mentioned Sage Flügel, whatever. People bring up stuff that happens in those side chapters and then more or less already tell you about a character that just appeared in the main story, and the side chapter already explored that character a bit, which again I do not necessarily like. Only option is then to not look at the comments, but then it's like, okay, don't take part in any conversation about the show, essentially, because you can't really pass which comment is spoilery in nature and which is not without reading the comment. I mean, he did it. It's a bright light. And we have access to the library. Where theoretically a lot of knowledge is being stored. But that we will have to discover, or you, because I already know. Again, and this is always a problem with, especially with something like ReZero, because I do not want to spoil, but sometimes you say stuff and you're like, I'm pretty sure that what was mentioned, but I don't know. I mean, it's easy to stay away from big spoiler, but smaller ones are a little bit weird. I mean, the same with the doors that Subaru opened. There's a lot here if you look at it. The doors, Subaru saw them as doors, everyone else saw them as just metal chunks. Then we have Shaula, who seemingly is using phrases from Subaru's world, which he did do in the first couple seasons as well. He was using those phrases as well all the time. Similar phrases, not the same, but similar. Then we are in this tower, which seems to be pretty advanced. We don't know who made it. We assume it is the sage. He made this incredible healing room. He took Shaula in as an apprentice, and she's like 400 years old, as we know now. The question is, why did he take her in? Why her specifically? Why not someone else? She's also very strong. She has a hell snipe. So, was that maybe the reason? Then she was saying that Subaru, whenever he smells like the witch's miasma, smells the same as the sage. Which is interesting. Why is the sage smelling like that? Or was smelling like that? Did he have also the return by death ability? Was it because he was involved with the Witch of Envy? There are a lot of these little bits and pieces. Then we have this trial, which you cannot solve unless you have the knowledge of the other world. Which is one of those big things which more or less is going to secure Flügel as an otherworldler. I mean, he's called Flügel. It's German. Who else in this story had like the U with the 2 points above it or something similar? As far as I remember, no one. So, from the very beginning, it was clear that he's a little bit different. I also believe it was mentioned that someone believed he could be an otherworldler in one of the earlier seasons. But this one more or less manifested it. It also is that Shaula said that Flügel gave her the name. And again, Shaula, the star or constellation, whatever the case. And again, the whole test was unsolvable if you did not know the stuff from our world. And additionally, you had to know the whole story about Orion and the Scorpion, which I had no clue about. So you did need some specialized information. This brings up a lot of different questions. The Sage, this whole test, was it specifically done for Subaru? Because he had the knowledge. Is Subaru related to that Sage in some way, shape, or form? Is it just a coincidence that this happened and they had the same knowledge and Subaru was able to clear this test? Then, if we assume that this test was specifically made for Subaru, why? Did the Sage have like future sight? Was the Sage, what powers did even the Sage have? He made this tower. There are a lot of questions regarding that, which it is very interesting. Now, also, this is where my appreciation for this volume comes in, is the knowledge we can get from the tower. There's a lot we can find out here. And it did a really good job in the novel. So I cannot wait to see what we are going to get shown, because written and seeing a visual representation, always different. And there's also another part that I really, really enjoyed about this season, which will come later.